study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. I be saucing, falling, kiss me in New Orleans, hoodie on my darling, yeah. I be saucing, falling, kiss me out in Boston, hoodie on my darling, yeah. Finesse the league, I'd rather be a nerd. I feel like Zuckerberg, I feel like Zuckerberg.
I'd rather read. Hey, I'd rather read. I just love that theme song. Zuckerberg by Pax Sosa. There's a clock in my sock by Dr. Thinkenshine. There's a clock in my sock. No matter where I go, I need to be on time. This book is about time management and the way punctuality can help you climb. In some cultures, being late is considered to be a social crime. There could never, ever, ever be enough words that rhyme with time. Bertha Lee made it to the corner, but the ice cream truck, which departs at 5 o'clock, had just left. She wishes she had left her home just 2 minutes earlier. Bertha Lee needed a clock in her sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tommy's dad was late for work because Tommy missed the school bus, and his dad had to drive him to school. The bus comes at 7 o'clock. Tommy got to the bus stop 5 minutes late. What are some things Tommy can do in the future in order to get to the bus stop on time? Tommy needs a clock in his sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. Manny was 15 minutes late for the spelling bee, so he was disqualified. Manny spent 5 months studying for the spelling bee, but because he was late, he could not even compete. What are some things Manny could have done to get to the spelling bee early or on time? Manny needs a clock in his sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. Tanya's neighbor pays her $25 each week to walk her dog before school. Tanya is saving money for a family trip to Victoria Falls in Africa. Victoria Falls is located between Zimbabwe and Zambia. Tanya overslept 4 mornings, so she only earned $7 one week. The next week, she overslept and did not walk the dog one single day. She earned no money that week. In fact, her neighbor hired a new dog walker. Tanya needs a clock in her sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. Nathaniel woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning because he wanted to hang his posters for the class representative election, have breakfast in the cafeteria, and make it to class on time. Nathaniel laid his clothes and books out the night before, set his alarm clock, and got to bed by 8:30 p.m. The next morning, he hung 20 posters, ate breakfast, and got to Latin class on time. What are some things we can learn from Nathaniel? Nathaniel had a clock in his sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. LaToya knew she would be at the hair salon for about 8 hours since she was having some very special braids installed. She took a book, her spelling words, her Sunday school lesson, her Greek flashcards, her nail clippers, and dental floss. LaToya clipped her nails, cleaned out her backpack, studied, and read while she was having her hair done. She even brushed and flossed her teeth when her stylist took a break. What can we learn from LaToya? LaToya had a clock in her sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. Zinda, Brenda, and Linda were planning a surprise party for their sister Trenda. 2 months before the party, they met and each took an assignment or jurisdiction. Zinda would work on the invitations and the guest list. Brenda was in charge of the strawberry-themed decorations. Linda would work with Mom, Dad, and Auntie Towenda on the menu, which would feature Grandma Nakinda's famous strawberry, razzle-dazzle, fantazzle, numazzle, wantazzle, pinkific, terrific, very, very, very merry cake. Surprise! Everyone shouted as Trenda walked in the door. Trenda was so happy and surprised. The party was great. Zenda, Brenda, and Linda did a great job planning. They made Trenda feel special and loved. Zenda had a clock in her sock. Brenda had a clock in her sock. Linda had a clock in her sock. Dr. Thinkenshine has a clock in her sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. It is great to get rest and relax, but it is always good to have a clock in your sock. It is great to manage your time so you don't let anyone down or get behind. The world would be a better place if more of us had clocks in our socks. Tick-tock. In fact, it would rock if everyone had a clock in their sock. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Knock, knock. Who's there? A hawk wearing a sock who is in need of a clock so he can climb the stalk to avoid being hit by a huge falling rock, which is coming down at 1 o'clock. Guac, guac. Tick-tock. Do you have a clock in your sock? Tick-tock. There's a clock in my sock by Dr. Thinkenshine.